I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. It says that I'm going live. There's Tally, 1975. Charlie, how you doing? Egan from Florida. Yes, everyone is piling in. Hippie the Hills. Good to see you, buddy. It's been a few days. This is great. Charlie, and good morning to you too, my friend. Yes, Charlie, I was about to give you a formal apology about yesterday. I said Charlie was from Denmark yesterday. Yes, I know it was the Netherlands. I got a lot going on, guys, and I'm going to make mistakes, and I will always make mistakes. But if you bust me on those mistakes, I will own up to them. In fact, when we talk about the X Factor, and if you listen to the podcast, it is a question that AJ and I have been asking the people that we've been interviewing, which is, what is your X factor? Well, that's one of mine. Owning up to my mistakes and being able to learn from them. I'm not someone who would rather the work in rationalizing or being defensive over mistakes is wasted time when I could be learning from those mistakes. And at some point, you have to come to terms with your cognitive capacity. And when you do, then you have to figure out, if this is the lot that I have been dealt with, what is the best way for me to move forward with that? What is the best way to play the cards that I have been dealt? And when it comes to, for all of us with our cognitive capacities, whatever we've been dealt with, it is to understand your limitations, accepting of them, and then learn to stack skills and learning on top of that. So the X factor of owning up to one's mistakes is noble, and it's smart. Charlie says, theory of Mark Manson, the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Yes, I would have to agree with that. So I'm excited to go today, guys. Now, if you are watching over in YouTube or Periscope land, please join in. Make sure you shoot me some comments. That's how I know that you're there, as I'm restreaming this and don't have their interface. If you are watching an archive of this show, hit like, subscribe, and leave me comments. That's how I know that you guys are enjoying the show. And all of those small things, hitting the subscribe, hitting a like, sharing a video, leaving me a comment, those are the little things that make my day. They make me happy. So I appreciate all of that. Now, so yesterday I decided Tally asked, where is moderator General Jen? Well, she's quite busy and she has a little one. So I believe her schedule has changed a bit, so she hasn't been able to participate like she used to. We'll leave it at that. So where was I? Oh, yeah. So yesterday I had this idea that I was going to do an autopsy of the Democratic Convention and look at it through a marketing lens or psychologist lens so that we could learn from it. And I thought that would be a fun show. And I guess, there was a few points that I made that I felt came across really well. There was also some points where I felt it fell flat. And I had a crazy day scrambling with other Articharm stuff before I went live with you guys. So I was a little scattered. Anyway, my apologies. But anyway, I decided, I was like, well, I could do a better autopsy tomorrow as the convention is still going on. And I decided to flip through the highlights And guys, I just can't do it. I can't do it. And let's go through all the reasons why. Number one, as you guys know, I don't like to talk about politics on the show, and if I am going to talk about politics, I want to do it through a lens that is constructive. So that's why I choose the psychological lens or the marketing lens, because it's fun to look at the optics and messaging of these arguments and worldviews, and that's what politics is certainly made up of. But today I'm watching the highlights, and to me, it's all I see are the flaws of the messaging and the optics and the hypocrisy and the agenda and the pandering and and here's the thing about it. It's like mass media television, where they're trying to blast this messaging and collect through the law of averages. And I understand that the messaging and their target audience, it's not me. It's not animal either. And because of that, I feel stupid watching it. And as you guys know, how I deal with the media is to not give them any attention, because when you act like squabbling children, you deserve to be punished. What does children want when they act up? They want attention, approval, and acceptance. Well, you don't get that from me, because I don't reward bad behavior. In fact, rewarding bad behavior is what weak parents do to a child, that reinforces behavior that parent does not like. And because they're looking for peace in the moment of a tantrum. And that just upsets me. And so today, in looking at it to do the autopsy, as I did yesterday, I'm just like, I'm not doing this. It makes me angry. It makes me depressed. And the fact that this is how they think about you. This is cognitively how they think that they can appeal to you. And I just find that so deeply offensive that they don't even deserve my attention in order to give them a hard time. Now, for those of you who might think I'm being mean, you can give me your reasons for that. I'd be happy to answer to that. But I just can't do it anymore. I'm not going to give the convention any attention. And I'm giving them attention now by saying that I'm not giving them attention. But I'm just letting you know, this is my last words on the pageantry and drama that is the Democratic Convention. And I know I said we would talk about it, but after yesterday and having to deal with it today and watching the three-ring circus, I'm over it. But in order to be fair, I will give you one day autopsy of the RNC as well. All right. Zachary Christensen joins in. Thank you, Zachary, and good morning to you too, buddy. Armani Talks. How you doing, buddy? Guys, if you're not following Armani Talks, he has a Twitter and a YouTube of great tips and techniques and ideas for public speaking and plenty of other behavioral science, much in the line of ASC. So if you like what we are doing here, you would really enjoy what Armani Talks does. And he specializes in public speaking. So I would check him out. Now, so that's what I had to say about that. Now I'll move over to the question I had gotten, and perhaps Armani can chime in on this as well. I was asked the other day through Twitter, is it wise to waste my time starting a business during the insanity that is a global pandemic and the civil strife that we're having under an election year? And I'm sure our Armani Talks will say the same thing that I'm going to tell you right now. Yes, it is always worth starting a new venture. And the best time to do it is when you think about it. And the second best time is right now. Because first of all, you have to look at it through the proper lens. The easy target and the easy desire in starting a business is money, right? You want to make a lot of money and you think this venture could do it. And that's granted, that's great for all business. Who doesn't want extra income? And who doesn't want to be self-sufficient? However, I want to add this to your thoughts about starting a business. If you're going to start a business, money should be the second thing that you're aiming at. The first thing that you should be aiming at is because of what you will learn in the process of starting this business. Because if you don't have your eye and ears and attention towards the learning process, the growth and the pain, excuse me, and the pain that you will be subjected to in starting a business, then you will easily become frustrated and give up. And the pain and what is coming your way, the hurdles and trial and tribulations and frustrating of starting a business is only frustrating if you view it as a lens that is, if you view it that it's in your way to make money. It needs to be about the process itself. You would have to start this business because of that learning process, but also maybe you're a bit obsessed with the idea. Maybe if you don't start this, then that idea will always be in the back of your head, and you'll always say to yourself, why couldn't I have started that business? Or maybe I should start that business. If this is going to be something that you're constantly going to be contemplating, and it's going to leave you staring at the ceiling every night when you go to bed, well, that's the reason to start the business. Because regardless of the money, what you're going to gain from that experience far outweighs what you're already doing now. And perhaps it is in your nature to try this, to give it a shot, to put some effort into this, because maybe you are walking into the great unknown, or perhaps you can't think about anything else. That is all the desire and motivation that you should need to get started. Now, what is the ante? What do you put into the pot to get started? That's where you wager, is this a good idea or bad idea? Or how do I invest in myself in the development of this idea without being detrimental to other aspects of my life? Well, as Armani Talks will tell you, and myself, personally, I have found Twitter to be one of the easiest ways to test ideas and to see what ideas fly and to work on engagement to bring in the attention to your ideas, to see how well they fly, to see who else is interested. That's free. you don't have to purchase a marketing team or effort or purchase opportunities. You can do it on the side for fun, an hour a day. There's a friend of Armani and I's on Twitter named Jose Rosado, who I really enjoy his work. He has great books on copywriting, Twitter marketing, and just building a Twitter. There's a lot of guys on there who sell that stuff. I find Jose to be simplest and fun. And those books have all the pertinent information that you need. They're easy to read one-day guides that you can buy cheaply. You can even find that information online for free, but you'll have to go through a lot of stuff. To make it easier on yourself, just purchase one of those cheap books. And everything that you would need to learn to apply to allowing yourself a sandbox to see what ideas work and do not work are right there. Small investment, plenty of opportunity, and most of everything that you need online is going to be, you can find it free to cheap. Another question that I got was, well, during this pandemic, are people spending money? Are people buying things? Well, once again, if that is your first question, then your reason for starting a business isn't in the right place. You're focused on the wrong things. You're focused on money. Look, I understand of why you would want more money and what it provides. But I don't think a lot of people understand how difficult walking into the unknown, being an entrepreneur is if you've never done it before. And so you have to have the proper perspective that this is all about the learning and the opportunities and what you're going to be gaining from it knowledge-wise that make it all worth it, because you will be pushing a large boulder up a hill. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't? Of course not. You know, and in fact, we're getting to a place in the world, and with all the technology that we have, that every young person should be trying to start a business through the platforms that are available, social media, just in order to grow, learn how these things work, and learn through their efforts. Because college and the degree you're getting, especially if it's coming from communications or humanities, can all be learned online. And we're getting to a place where there are so many entrepreneurs who are stating out loud that college is not a thing anymore, and you certainly don't need it. To be honest, I did not go to college. It was my love of psychology and human behavior, my obsessiveness with it, that drove me to my line of work. Now, I'm not going to tell you that college is useless, but it is certainly not the be-all, end-all anymore, and that you have every tool and all the knowledge at your disposal to give anything a solid attempt that you might want. Robin Roper says, good morning, love your content. Well, thank you very much, Robin. We appreciate you. Let's see if we have some comments or questions today. So Charlie asked, how long will you be offline during your move to Vegas? Charlie, I don't really know. And in fact, I'm still waiting on a couple of things with my building. I still haven't even got my confirmation move-in date. However, if you look behind me over there, I got a lot of boxes stacked up. They're ready to go. I'm moving into the cleaning out everything phase and moving into let's get things organized so we can pack them relatively easy to get on the move. So those were the thoughts that I had today, guys. I'm sorry I don't have much more. Charlie says he will help me. You guys are going to help me move. I appreciate that. You guys are going to have to certainly give me some room. If you guys have questions, please feel free to ask, and I will answer them today. As I was saying, I usually come with some ideas every morning, but as I was going through the news, there was nothing that I was really excited about to talk about. In fact, once again, when it came to politics, as you guys know, I don't enjoy speaking about them. I try to find a unique perspective to talk about them. I'm just tired of allowing them to have control over how I feel. You know, I spent yesterday, to be honest with you guys, I had spent the last couple weekends deleting friends from social media who try to cram CNN articles down my throat. Well, let me rephrase it. Who try to cram down any mainstream news articles down my throat because it's too easily to debunk them, and they've lost all credibility. And for you to be somebody who uses these articles who are written by activists and are opinion pieces to prove your worldview or stance makes you a little bit silly. I can't take you seriously. And if I can't take your argument seriously and I can't take you seriously, then why am I going to allow you to be in my news feed to make me upset? You deserve as much as attention as I give politics, which is none. You haven't done anything to deserve it. And you ever think, now I'm going off on a rant, have you guys ever thought to yourselves about the people who show up in your social media feed and what they've actually done to deserve that second of attention that you will give them by buzzing through and reading the headline of whatever they posted? You're giving them a lot of power. Unearned. Unearned. So you've given somebody attention who hasn't earned it, and what have they done with that opportunity? They used it to upset you. They've used it to spread false information. They've used it to try to browbeat you into coming into their worldview. Well, if that's the case, I got news for them. You're out of here. And I'm tired of dealing with it anymore. And so when these people find out, which maybe they won't, I would imagine most of them won't. Most of the people I deleted off of my social media platforms, I was trying to figure out how the hell I even know who these people are, because they're not people that I deal with. And what have we had social media for now? Like close to 15 years, almost 2 decades. I'm 46 years old. I've certainly collected a lot of people and a lot of names, and they certainly don't deserve my attention. And like all relationships, you grow in directions. And because you grow in directions, that means you grow apart. Some of you will grow together. Charlie says, are you talking to me? Or are you talking about me? No, I'm not talking about you, Charlie. You're one of the ones who actually make my day, who allow me to be in a better mood. Robin Roper says, talk about the psychology of starting a business in relation to the myth of Sisyphus. Okay, well, I will certainly do that. I mentioned earlier that starting a business was going to be like pushing a boulder up a hill. And the myth of Sisyphus is incredibly important. Now, I'm not a Greek mythology scholar, but Sisyphus he had upset the gods. I believe he carried on an affair with a mortal. I might have that wrong. Regardless, he had upset the gods. He had broken one of their rules, and he had a curse put on him to where he was stuck pushing a boulder up a hill for eternity. And when Sisyphus got that boulder up a hill, it rolled back down and he had to do it all over again. Now, here's what most people read into Sisyphus, or what self-development people, why they love this story. Because when you can't get out of an environment, if you can't change your environment will change you. So you might think on the surface, this idea up a hill would be for eternity, would be a curse of hell on earth. But what you have to understand is that for Sisyphus, being stuck in that environment, he was forced to change, to adapt to it. So what does that mean for Sisyphus? It means he learned how to find enjoyment out of pushing that rock up that hill every day. Could he do it faster than the last time? Could he do it slower than the last time? Could he put all of his attention and focus onto the very act and derive enjoyment and value and fulfillment out of it? So if you look closely at this picture of Sisyphus rolling that rock up the hill, in some renditions, it almost looks like he has on a smile. Why? Because in that task, he had changed himself to find that fulfillment, which allows him in that task to be happy. And much like an entrepreneur, and if you're going to be successful in that line of work and be pushing a boulder up a hill, you better figure out a way to enjoy that process, because that is going to be the environment in which you're going to find yourself in. And if you can't find the enjoyment in that process, you will be living the curse. You will be living in hell on earth. You will be cursed for the rest of eternity. So this is why it is important to not only look at what your environment and what you can do to fix it and make it more hospitable to you. You should also look inward to figure out how you might be able to change to enjoy your environment. This idea, and Robin, thank you very much for this topic. As you could tell, I'm a big fan of Sisyphus. One of the most important things, when you look at every harrowing task that human beings have found themselves in, and situations and environments in which you might think are inhospitable, human beings have always found a way to not only survive, but to flourish. Because it is because they had taken responsibility for the environment in which they were in, and they changed the environment to the degree which allowed them more comfort, but also in turn had figured out ways to change themselves to make more, take advantage of that situation, that environment much more. So there is my equivalence and parallel to Sisyphus. Thank you for the question, Robin. Puff Up the Pillow in Periscope. It says, hello, American from Norway. Yes, I love Norway. You know, I've been in Sweden and I've checked out a little bit of Scandinavia, Iceland as well, but I have never checked out Norway. And let's just say that Norway is a rock and roll country. And as soon as I have that opportunity, I will come visit Norway for sure. I'm also as a musician and as somebody who follows a lot of subgenres of rock and roll, the Norwegian black metal scene of the 90s, as odd and weird as it may seem, has of late piqued my interest just from the stories about it. I'm well versed. I've seen the documentaries, Puff Up the Pillow. Puff Up the Pillow says they live rock and roll in Norway. Yes. So, and also I'm a huge Turbo Negro fan from Oslo. So there is the Swedes and the Finns and you Norwegian folk all have a monopoly on being rock and roll countries now. And as soon as we're able to travel again, I will be checking out some festivals up there. All right, guys, it is 9:02. I got to go. I got a million things to do today. Robin Roper, thank you for your question. I hope I answered it well. Puff Up the Pillow, thank you. If you guys enjoyed what I had to talk about today and want to learn more, check out the Articharm Communication Accelerator. It has all of our best bits from our live programs, online training programs, and expert guests for over the last 15 years. It is an entry into everything that we do here, and it has tons of great stuff for networking, cognitive processing, and socialization, networking. So check it out. Also, I will not be here tomorrow. I have a meeting, but I will see you again Friday, 8 a.m. Yes, I will keep posting Septac. Thank you very much over there in YouTube land. I appreciate you guys. See you guys on Friday. Have a wonderful